Welcome to JetStream Talks, Finances in the Community.
Hey, JetStream family. My name is Samantha Sanchez Cruz. I'm the Director of Marketing, and I'm here with Daniela Camacho, our HR Manager. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Samantha. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of your podcast this morning.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited to kind of get into a bunch of really fun questions. So, are you ready?
Let's kick it off.
All right. So, what's the biggest mistake candidates make during a job interview today?
I think that's a great question because we see it very often. Candidates do a great job at prepping their own questions to talk about themselves, right? And I think that they sometimes forget how important it is to do a little bit of background research on the company and to learn a little bit more about the position so that when they interview, they can talk about what are their skill sets, what are their experiences, and how it would enhance or be an asset to joining our team.
You know what? I love the fact that we're here today and we're getting your perspective because it's not really often that you're able to speak to an HR manager or someone in the HR world and learn this perspective of like what goes through your mind when you're interviewing so many different candidates. So with that being said, what's something that instantly makes you remember a candidate in a really good way?
I would say I like for people to storytell and talk about their experiences, right? And share openly and being genuine about, what are experiences that they had to learn from that experience, or when they had to contribute to a team, what they learned from those experiences. Someone that's open and is curious too, right? That leaves asking one or two questions about the role, the organization, because that shows you that they're thinking beyond.
Yeah.
Not just thinking about getting the position. They're thinking about how can I grow within that organization? How can I contribute to that organization? So definitely the genuine piece goes a long way.
That is so true. There's so many oftentimes that people think I think maybe they get nervous during these interviews and they forget to ask questions or sometimes they'll have like an interviewer be like, do you have any questions for us? And they're like, no, I'm just going to go my way. So there's often times where, it is such a great opportunity to be able to inquire more and be asked. And I also feel like it gives them more of an opportunity to like form a connection. And I feel like that's also really important. Yeah.
I agree. But the nerves, I do think,
Yeah.
take over. And as soon as they know that the interview is over, they just want to bolt out of there.
Yeah.
But
I can
it's so
only
important
imagine.
to have one or two questions in your back pocket.
100%. And it's funny to get your perspective knowing that you've also interviewed me. So if someone wants to grow their career this year, what's the first thing that they should change?
I would say that the employee should feel empowered about owning their growth.
Wow.
I think a lot of times employees feel that they need to get tapped on the shoulder and say, I have this position. I think you would be great for this position. But honestly, the employee should own their growth, speak to their direct supervisor, manager, express interest, raise their hand when there's an opportunity to be involved in a project, or just ask questions and be involved in their own development, because sometimes you stay behind waiting for that tap on the shoulder. So again, if I had to, sum it down to just a few words, just making sure that your leader is aware that you want to grow, raise your hand when there's an opportunity, and ask questions and be curious, because that shows them that you're definitely interested.
Yeah, definitely. That ownership, I would say, is so important. And, I've always heard that quote that, what is it? Like a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yes.
And
I can't say more.
yeah. And I feel like that's where people have like a really great opportunity to speak up and say what you're excited about, say what you're passionate about, and say what your goals are. And that, truly gets the ball moving even more.
It does.
Yeah. So, what's one quality you can teach and one you just absolutely can't?
So you can definitely teach someone how to enter, data into the computer.
Yeah, or make a
system, in
PowerPoint.
spreadsheet,
Yeah.
PowerPoint. Those skills you can teach, follow a procedure. I think the most important thing that we can't teach and a lot of leaders look for is attitude.
Yeah.
What's your attitude? Are you the type of person that's accountable? Are you a team player? Do you show up to work with positive attitude? Those little things take, you would think it's so minimum, but they could just take your career to the next level.
Oh, definitely.
you know?
Yeah, and I agree with that. And then it can also be the differentiator between you and another candidate.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The other person on paper may have everything, check every single item off that we're looking for, but doesn't have that attitude
Mhm.
that we need. And it could just take them off the table. We give the offer to someone else just because of
Yeah.
that.
That is so crazy. And now that we know this, it's definitely something to think about. So if you're watching this, definitely think about it within your next interview, because that is for sure a good takeaway. Now, people think company culture is just like free snacks and happy hours. What is it really? What does culture in an office setting, in a company setting, like what does it mean to you?
I think the snacks are great, but those are things that are temporary.
Yeah.
When you're looking for an organization to join a business, what you want to do is really try to understand what's their culture, their mission, their vision. Do you guys align? You have to see, how do the leaders treat their employees? How do they
Mhm.
communicate? Are they consistent? You got to look at those things because you're
Yeah.
going to spend most of your time at work,
Mhm.
and your values have to align.
Yeah.
So yeah, the snacks are great, but you're there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times you're in an office setting more, like you spend more time within your office and you see your family, which is definitely something that you have to take into consideration because, your coworkers are kind of like your family. These are the people you're around all the time. These are the mutual experiences you share, and, company culture is so important.
Yes.
One of the biggest things that I think is so awesome about JetStream is that we have so many team members here that have so much tenure.
Oh, we have employees here 20 plus years. In fact,
Yeah.
there's an employee that she's gonna meet 40
That
years.
is that is so
That's the
amazing.
hugest
Yeah.
milestone. I feel like that's unheard of,
Mhm.
to say someone's been at a company for that many years.
I
And
know.
I think it all goes back to the people. We
Yeah.
work with an amazing group of talented employees who are always ready to help one another out. That collaboration, you don't see everywhere else.
No, you really don't.
And we do that here day in and day out.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, it really is amazing. And I'll ask you this now about yourself. What's the best career advice you've ever received?
always be open to learning.
Okay. That is a very good one. Yeah.
I think sometimes we fall into, this is my to-do list, or
Mhm.
I was hired to do these tasks,
Yeah.
and you put yourself in a box, right?
Yeah.
I think that when you're asked to do something outside of your comfort zone,
Mhm.
that's when the biggest reward comes.
Yeah.
If you're asked to be part of a project, you know, participate. It might feel uncomfortable at first, right? Because it's maybe something you've never done before, but from that experience, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
And if you see that there's a certification or a training that that if you completed it, it could bring you to that next level, then that's something that you should be open to doing. And going back to growing, right?
Mhm.
Communicating that with your leader. And one of the things that we do here at JetStream, that doesn't happen in other organizations, is that we really push for a culture of learning. So we're very open to our employees going back to school.
Mhm.
We participate in tuition reimbursement. We cover any type of trainings or conferences that you may be interested in attending. That learning, not only can you apply it here, but it
Mhm.
could open doors for you in other places. And we're very pro growth for our people. So
No,
it's
and
learning.
I agree with that. I agree with that so much. And it's so rewarding to be part of this culture and to have, it's not only you that wants the best for you, it's also your team members, it's also your leaders. And I think that's what, truly makes this organization so special. I was just in another podcast with Jeannie, and we were talking about how important, personal growth is, and how important it is to be aware of your goals and how to accomplish them. And it's not only just applicable within JetStream that we want you to succeed in your financial goals, but we also want people to succeed in their career goals. And I feel like that's very special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you ever interviewed someone who completely surprised you? Was it me?
That happens a lot. Going back to the resume, some people sound great on paper, and then
Mhm.
they come to the interview and there's just no passion, like
Yeah.
nothing really like shows through the personalities, just not the right cultural fit for us. Then there's other people that we get the resume and yeah, they have a few things, but it's not everything that we were looking for, but
Yeah.
they just blow us away in the interview.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it has happened. Maybe you were one of them, but I can't really disclose anything post interview, but we get that a lot. So
Yeah.
I always try to be very open when reviewing those resumes. And there's things that you can't read on a piece of paper.
Oh,
You know?
definitely, definitely. And since we're such a like positive culture here at JetStream, it's definitely, for sure you look for candidates that fit that culture, that like are a good reflection of what we are and what we do with and what we care about, which, at the end of the day is our members.
It is.
We care so greatly about their well-being, the well-being of their finances, and we make every single one of our decisions really with their future in mind. So it's really rewarding to see that, that ideology reflects on both sides of within our institution, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what's one thing employees value today that companies don't prioritize 10 years ago?
So it's a new world out there.
Yeah.
I think COVID really shook how
Oh,
companies
definitely.
did things. So there's a few things that we prioritize now. Definitely mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lot of negative stigma around that um, word, and now we embrace it, right? Um, I would say we look for people who are passionate about what they want to do. So mental health, passion. Um, what else can I think of that's been top of mind lately? I think I'm gonna go with those two.
Yeah.
Right? Like, can we really provide our employees that
Mhm.
work-life balance, right? So that they feel that they can be their best both at home and at work. And are we also hiring those people that really want to be here?
Yeah,
Right?
that is so true. And, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I believe you sent out an email to our team letting us know, reminding us to take our vacation days.
Yes.
And I don't think I've ever experienced that before.
It's very important. You
Yeah.
have to take vacation.
Exactly.
Disconnect and spend time doing the things that you love, whether it's just staying home and watching Netflix all day long or catching a flight and exploring a different country. That's fine with us, but you have to take the time for yourself.
Exactly. And it's
Come back
so
refreshed.
yeah, and it's so important that it's so wonderful that we're passionate about it, that we want to see that out of our team members. And I feel like we come back from, vacations and stuff, like we come back 10 times better. We come back more passionate about our work. We come back more energetic about what, this institution's mission is for its members.
Yep.
And it just comes, it's so nice to see. And I feel like, going back to the question about 10 years ago, I feel like that culture was not a thing 10 years ago. There was a huge stigma that you just had to work until you drop. And now, there is a full welcoming world caring about work-life balance. And that's just so rewarding.
We don't want to burn out our people.
Exactly. We want to keep our people good.
Exactly.
So going from there, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from working with so many different personalities?
That's a very good question. I think that especially in HR,
Yeah.
one thing that I always say, you can't please everybody, right? You really have to understand, how do these people like to communicate?
Yeah.
How do they like to receive a recognition? You really have to get to know your people
Yeah.
and adjust, right? And by doing that, you also see how what their strengths are, and you can position them in roles in which they're going to be successful in, or in projects,
Yeah.
that they're going to thrive in. So just really get to know your people. And also that translates to our members. I mean,
Yeah.
our tellers, our member relationship managers, they know everyone that walks into that branch.
It's so
Building
it's
that
amazing.
relationship, fostering it is
Yeah.
the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, relationships are very you pour in and then you receive back. And that's the wonderful thing about our branches, even that you're able to walk into one of our branches and communicate with, one of our tellers and have kind of like a relationship. Sometimes, even us, we tend to go in there on like a Friday or a random day and we see them interacting and how they know each other by name and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I don't think people get that experience anymore in large financial institutions anymore.
It's stale.
Yeah. It's so stale, but it's a type of warmth and embrace that you can experience at JetStream, and I think that's it's so rewarding to be aware of it for
Oh, yeah.
us because it goes to show that like our efforts within the financial institution get translated all the way down to the member.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so this is my last one for you. Finish this sentence. The people who grow the fastest in their careers usually What do you think? Do they work harder? Do they strive more? Do they work with their team members more? Do they listen more?
I think they're just more open to feedback
That's awesome.
and working cohesively.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of the things that I've learned is that you can't take it all
Yeah.
and do it all, right? And you have to be open to people's suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
You want their buy-in. So they need to feel heard. They need to feel like they contributed. And that's how you get the best work
Mm-hmm.
or the best quality of work. So going back to being open, and working as a team.
Yeah.
Again, working alone is not going to get you the same result
No,
as someone
definitely.
that, is
Yeah,
open.
exactly. And no, and I fully agree with that. I think a really big part is being, a good team member. I think that's the important thing. And it's, reminding yourself of the goal at hand and the fact that, there's no I in team. It's all just a communal effort and, supporting where you can. At the end of the day, in this institution, we are a huge team, but at the same time, we care so much about these members on like a one-on-one basis.
Yeah.
So it is truly, and it truly takes a whole lot of teamwork to get that done, which
It
is,
does.
yeah, which is so amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Danielle, for joining me today.
Thank you,
Uh,
Sarah.
I really appreciate your time today. So, with that being said, we are going to go ahead and close this podcast. Thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. We are here to serve you within Miami-Dade County, Broward County. If you want to follow us on our socials, we are at JetStream FCU. And if you want to learn more about our products and services and how to become a member, you can go ahead and head to jetstreamfcu.org. Adios.